the request which you have just made of me to receive the record of my mind is...
I have gladly accepted the invitation to speak to you in this unusual manner at a time when I am anxious that my words should reach as many of my fellow countrymen as possible.
No human system is perfect, but the system of free ports, with all its faults, has built up for us the greatest international trade in the world, the greatest shipping in the world.
Friends, we are beginning a contest which will be one of the most historical in the story of our country.
There are a million good reasons why you should support the national government. They are to be found in the homes where, owing to the trade revival, 1 million breadwinners are now drawing a regular wage instead of searching for work.
At the Mansion House in London, Mr.
Which will probably be a fateful one in the history of the world. The oceans of the world have been swept clear of German shipping.
Through 5 years of total war, Winston Churchill has led our people to their greatest victory after some of the darkest hours in our history. Great issues still lie ahead, and at this time it is fitting that the British nation should listen once again to the words of Mr. Churchill.
5 years ago, I promised you blood, toil, tears, and sweat. And your untiring response brought us, in the end, victory over Germany.
Over 6 count. Reason we went in wholeheartedly into the organization of the United Nations.
The meeting of the NATO powers in Paris is an important event. It has also become an annual event. Every December, the 14 powers, who are the member states of NATO, meet together, review the military work of the past year, and prepare their programs for the next.
You will understand me when I say that it's with a mixture of sorrow and pride that I speak to you as Prime Minister of Britain. Sorrow, because my friend and leader has had to lay down his burden because of grievous illness. A man of character and courage.
There is nothing we in Western Europe should all like better than close economic and political relations with the countries of Eastern Europe. It was the policy of the Federal Republic of Germany.
Of the scientific revolution. But that revolution cannot become a reality unless we are prepared to make far-reaching changes in economic and social attitudes which permeate our whole system of society.
Prime Minister, I want to speak to you simply and plainly about the grave emergency now facing our country. Jobs will be in danger and take-home pay will be less. We shall have to postpone some of the hopes and aims we have set ourselves for expansion and for our standard of living. We shall have a harder Christmas than we have known since the war.
Before it's distributed, This is where I believe a misunderstanding, or perhaps something worse, has arisen between the government and the party on the question of public expenditure. You know we've been not creating sufficient wealth as fast as we've been distributing it. Over the last 3 years, you know that our domestic product has risen by 2%, and the increase in our public expenditures, including central and local government, has increased by 18%.
Where there is discord, may we bring harmony. Where there is error, may we bring truth. Where there is doubt, may we bring faith. And where there is despair, may we bring hope.
5 years. In that time, we've achieved a great deal. But for the last 3 years, I've been opposed by a small minority in our party. During those 3 years, there have been repeated threats of a leadership election. In each year, they turned out to be phony threats. Now the same thing again is happening in 1995. I believe it's in no one's interest that this continues right through until November.
Of flip-flopping. I have with me a leaflet that has just been put out in the Dunfermline West Fife by-election. From one David Cameron, a letter. It says this: I'm a liberal conservative. Issues that once divided conservatives from liberal Democrats are now issues where we both agree, like Iraq.
Election, we find ourselves in a position unknown to this generation of political leaders, with no single party able to have a Commons majority and therefore have a majority government. I've therefore felt that I should give you, through you, the country, my assessment of where we are.
Ultimate triumph of life over death in the resurrection of Jesus. And for all of us, it's a time to reflect on the part that Christianity plays in our national life. The church is not just a collection of beautiful old buildings, it's a living, active force doing great works right across our country. When people are homeless, the church is there with hot meals and shelter.
Government will put the final deal that is agreed between the UK and the EU to a vote in both Houses of Parliament before it comes into force. I want to be clear. What I am proposing cannot mean membership of the single market. As a priority, we will pursue a bold and ambitious free trade agreement.
I want to use the last few seconds, Mr. Speaker, to give some words of advice to my successor, whoever he or she may be. Number one, stay close to the Americans, stick up for the Ukrainians, stick up for freedom and democracy everywhere. And remember, above all, it's not Twitter that counts. It's the people that sent us here.
It has been a huge honour to be Prime Minister of this great country. In particular, to lead the nation in mourning the death of Her late Majesty the Queen after 70 years of service, and welcoming the accession of His Majesty King Charles III.
It's right now. What's terrifying is that right now, people not knowing whether when they call 999, they will get the treatment that they need. Now, Mr. Speaker, in Australia and Canada and the US, they ban strikes on blue light services. We're not doing that. All we're saying is that in these emergency services, patients should be able to rely on a basic level of life-saving care. Why is he against that, Mr. Speaker?
And now we've reached the end of the video. So, if you enjoyed that, don't forget to like and subscribe, and check out another video. There should be one somewhere over here, and if you really like the video, feel free to subscribe by clicking on my face, also here. Until next time, stay cool.